Why did he want the files to not come out this badly? Why? Just tell me why.
Why do you always fall for this stuff is the bigger question.
Happening again.
This
is Russia, Ukraine, everything.
I don't think this is the end of John. I am not.
Nobody thinks it's the end of Donald Trump. It could be the end for the Democrats. You're watching it happen in real time. I love how you say, you look at it, Akeem Jeffrey. Oh, it's just a fundraising email.
That he had
as if it were a Republican, your party, the media would not interpret it in the worst light.
The moment Gutfeld pushes back, everything shifts. Because you and I know how this game works. The left builds an accusation, then panics when the facts start pointing in the opposite direction. And that's exactly what's happening here. The more these Epstein details surface, the more the narrative slides away from Trump and straight toward the people who tried to weaponize the story in the first place. And by the way, this is World Insight Hub. If you value clarity over noise, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss the truth behind moments just like this. Let's watch how Gutfeld exposes the pattern.
For example, it's amazing how the brilliant Jasmine Crockett thinks there's only one Jeffrey Epstein, and that one Jeffrey Epstein somehow gave money to Lee Zeldin. No, I know this is hard to believe. There is more than one Jeffrey Epstein. Just as if there are more than one Jesse Waters, but only one Greg Gutfeld. He was a doctor who gave money, but she knew that, unless you think she is retarded. And I don't think she is. I just think she's deliberately pretended that she didn't know there might be another one. So when I talk about this is what I say is the big worry about this thing, and I'm for the release of them. You look at how these idiots are going to try to interpret everything in the worst possible way. So if you're caught in that net and your name is Jeffrey Epstein or your name is Jesse Waters, something that could be easily checked out. I'm not saying you're in the files. I'm just saying there's a high likelihood you will be. They will be extremely malicious in their interpretation. So we have to be on our toes. I do think that, what's his name, Galloway? He's right. Be careful what you wish for, because when something seems too easy, it's a trap. And I think you just handed Trump a paintball gun, and you put targets on the Democrats because Epstein, I think 80 to 90% of his donations were all to Democrats. Epstein despised Trump. He was the only elite that wouldn't play ball with him. So, and then you look at like Larry Summers, you look at the, what is the billionaire? I can't remember. Reid Hoffman, you look at Bill Clinton, you look at Akeem, you look at the Virgin Island lady. It's only begun, and it looks bad for you guys. I think that this is going to be a fun winter for Trump, because once he goes in on this thing, he doesn't come out. He figured it out. He knows exactly how, when you guys bring it up, it's always going to go back to the Democrats every single time. And pretty soon you're just going to say, why did we do this? This is just like Russian collusion, but it's worse because now it ends with a huge, huge pile of mud all over us. The Russian collusion thing just went away. You guys were lucky.
What does it say about Donald Trump that of all the people he's associated with over his entire career, this was the one guy he cut ties with over 20 years ago? And he said, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy right here. He didn't talk to him or ever see him again because he knew what Epstein was up to. And everybody in Palm Beach knew what Epstein was up to. It was an open secret, Jessica. He was trying to steal masseuses from Mar-a-Lago. He caught him cold, and he said, get out of here, because Trump's smart, because he's a good brand ambassador, and he knows Epstein is bad for business. No person wants anything to do with a guy named Jeffrey Epstein, except Democrats, who, after the conviction for fooling around with a 14-year-old, were on his plane, or on his island, or asking him for money, or at his house. Jessica, there is a photograph of Bill Clinton getting a back massage by a young woman during a layover on the Lolita Express. Is there any evidence that Donald Trump ever got a massage, ever? Jeffrey Epstein, in these files, said Donald Trump never got a massage.
Oh.
And if Donald Trump actually was being blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein, and he had the goods, why is Jeffrey Epstein texting with a congresswoman during a hearing? Ask her this question. Why wouldn't he just drop the hammer right there? The president's at the White House.
Yeah.
Drop the hammer. What's he fooling around with this congresswoman for? If he has it, lay it out. He didn't have it. Trump was the one who arrested him. Trump was the one that put him behind bars. You guys are the one taking his money. Same with Weinstein. Same with Diddy. Same with Cosby. All these guys want his money. And they don't care what he does with little girls. Because as long as the money's flowing, they're okay with it. And think about the guys you build these anti-Trump cases around, Jessica. Convicted felons, porn stars, and pedophiles. You think this is going to take out?
Once Gutfeld tears open that first layer of the discussion, the rest of the segment makes something very clear. Democrats weren't prepared for their own talking points to come back and hit them. Because as soon as the files are actually examined, the entire Trump is hiding something narrative collapses under its own weight. Every detail they insisted would expose Trump instead exposed them, from Larry Summers asking Epstein for personal advice, to Hakeem Jeffries raising money even after Epstein's conviction, to Stacey Plaskett being coached during hearings. These aren't fringe connections. These are senior figures in the Democratic establishment, operating comfortably inside Epstein's orbit long after the public already knew who he was. Meanwhile, Trump's record is plain and consistent. He cut ties early. He banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. He cooperated with authorities. And he signed the Transparency Act to make these files public, the same files Democrats never wanted fully released. You and I know why that matters. When someone demands selective leaks instead of full transparency, they're not protecting victims. They're protecting their own political exposure. And that's why Gutfeld's breakdown hits so hard. He isn't just arguing over details. He's revealing a pattern. A pattern where Democrats amplify accusations they know won't land on Trump, hoping the noise will bury the fact that the real receipts sit on their own side of the aisle. Even Jessica Tarlov's reaction says everything. The more the panel tried shifting the conversation, the more Jennings and Gutfeld kept bringing it back to the one simple question Democrats can't answer. If Trump had anything to hide, why did he force these documents into the light? And why did the revelations overwhelmingly point to Democrats instead? And the moment you ask that out loud, the entire media framing begins to crumble. Because the truth is uncomfortable. Trump emerges untouched, and the people shouting the loudest are the ones whose connections run deepest. Now, the real story isn't what was Trump hiding. It's why were Democrats fighting so hard to avoid full disclosure? As always, let me know what you think. Did Democrats miscalculate and end up exposing themselves? Or was this outcome inevitable once real transparency replaced political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear where you stand. And if you're new here, this is World Insight Hub, where we break through the noise with sharp, principled analysis. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss perspectives the mainstream won't touch. Thanks for watching World Insight Hub. Stay sharp, stay curious, and don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. See you next time.